Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of the In the House podcast. So this is a part 2 of a discussion that we had with Eric Rauser. So go check out that episode, and if you don't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. But in this episode, what we're going to talk about is, we're going to get Eric's biggest pet peeve. So I'm really interested to hear his pet peeves. Not only from an architect's standpoint, but also from a builder. And then, something that I'm also super interested to hear about is, his experience with client relationships. And this is something that he suggested to us that we talk about, and challenging this concept of, of the bad client, quote unquote. So I'm really excited to hear his take on this. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe.
So pet peeves.
Yeah, you had brought up pet peeves, so that's a good transition into. I'm dying to hear what are some of your big.
Well, I think I don't want to be super negative about things. Actually, none of these things are things that I think are bad.
Yeah,
but I think my pet peeve is that these things represent things that aren't like discussed fully or like thought through fully or even or just given an appropriate amount of scrutiny.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to start with the hot one, which is, you guys talked with Ben about lien waivers, so that one's already been covered.
Yeah, he snagged that one.
So the fireplaces. So everyone who works with me has heard me rant about fireplaces at one point or another. So I apologize to everybody.
Why do we have fireplaces in Texas?
It's not so much that. Like, I love fireplaces. I love building a fire at my house. I think it's a wonderful experience, right? Like, it is making a home. It gathers people around. It does so many things for us.
Yeah.
Right.
But the houses that we design and build are like very high performing. They are very well insulated. They have fantastic mechanical systems. They are designed to keep you comfortable no matter what the outside temperature is.
Yes.
You also, like all of the projects that we do now, have a generator. And so there's backup power even if the power is out for a long time, you're probably going to be fine. The use case for you to need this as a heat source is almost nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's pretty
very
negligible.
small.
Yeah.
And so, which is fine. You should just think of it as an experience, right? Like, don't think of it as a heat source. Think it as an experience. Think it through, right? So, like, it is as you would design any other experience. Just give it a certain amount of scrutiny and thought.
Yeah.
So that it's not just an afterthought, right?
Right.
And I think like sometimes, and I'm not present for most of the design discussions with an architect with their client, but it's like in my head I'm like, they go, okay, do you want a fireplace? And they go, yeah, we'd like a fireplace, and then they just like draw the little symbol on there.
Yeah.
Fireplace. And that's it, right?
Do the fireplace.
Yeah. And what that ends up happening, like then that ends up becoming, you're kind of. What that is that's like a precast concrete firebox with a metal flue, and with gas log inserts. That's kind of what it defaults to.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like of all of the ways to do a fireplace, that's just not my favorite.
Interesting. I like it.
But again, this should be a personal experience. So at least you should kind of evaluate what the criteria are.
Well, how would you do a fireplace?
Well, I think it doesn't matter what I want to do.
No, but what's an option that you feel like fits in a house more holistically than that?
Well, I think first let's talk about the negatives of a fireplace, right? So it's not like it's just like, why wouldn't you, right? There are certain negatives to it. It's
100%.
Costly.
Yes.
It is a complicated integration because generally it's happening in an exterior wall.
Yes.
And so you have an exterior wall with waterproofing and all the things that go along with that, integrating into this fireplace.
Yep.
And you have to have non-combustible framing adjacent to it. And so there's complications there. Often it represents a a hole in your building envelope.
I mean,
right?
literally
Like,
a giant hole.
a huge hole in your building envelope
Giant
with a
hole.
damper
Yeah.
that doesn't seal in the way that all of our other dampers do,
Mm-mm.
and some kind of makeup air that again is questionable how well it seals.
Mhm.
Sure.
And so we go through all of this effort with
Tight buildings. Yeah.
and like trying to really seal everything and blower door tests.
Yeah.
And then we have this kind of like careless hole in the building envelope.
Mhm.
And that is made even more difficult when you're talking about a metal flue,
Mhm.
because that is like, it's hard to air seal. You can do it, but it's hard to air seal effectively around something that is going to get hot and needs combustible clearance.
Yeah.
Um,
Over a long period of time.
over a long period of time, and they're costly.
Yeah.
Right. So like
Yeah.
these things are costly. So it's not like it's just like sure, let's have a fireplace. So then, for me, I think like how are you going to use the fire is one thing. Is it going to be like you want to build a fire with wood and have the experience of like building the fire, or is this you just want it for convenience and it's going to be ambiance in the background?
Mhm.
And so like, what do you want it to smell like? What do you want it to, how much, how close are you going to get to it? What do you want it to look like when it's on? What do you want it to look like when it's off?
Mhm.
These are all kind of criteria that I don't think really are being discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, I think my favorite one for the right person is to do an old school masonry fireplace that's wood burning, and it has fire brick and a clay flue, because that we can integrate nicely, because there's we don't have the same combustion clearance as a smaller unit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we can build out the masonry and then integrate the wall into the masonry.
Yeah.
And then you're still left with the damper and the makeup air, but there are better and worse versions of that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if the person is not interested in actually building a fire, then I try to recommend using the sealed combustion appliances,
Right.
where it's like the glass front. You walk up, there's a switch on the wall, or there's a remote, and you just go boop, and you have a fire.
Yeah.
And that thing it's burning outside air, so you're not burning inside air.
Sealed. It's way sealed.
It's totally sealed, so when it's not in use, it's not a problem. It's not like this. You're constantly
It's not
affecting
affecting your
air or
house,
bringing in humid air.
Yeah.
And so like it solves a lot of those problems. The downside is nobody likes the way they look,
Yeah.
because they have the glass front,
Yeah.
and people just tend to not like them as much. So,
there's actually a really fascinating, like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, fireplaces. There's a whole fireplace science and the performative measure of those, and so there's a huge rabbit trail that we can go on some other time about basically how fireplaces are made, like a performative fireplace, one that throws heat into a room. The proportions of that are way different than your standard earth core isokern firebox today.
Well, yeah. Plus, there was some utility with them, not just for
not
heating.
just some.
All of them. I mean,
very
it was for
utility,
cooking,
for
right?
cooking.
I mean, it was for heating the home and cooking, and there was utility behind it. So now it's just things have modernized, and we don't do that anymore. So
and so like then the question is like, what is the fireplace?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point?
I think
like,
it's.
I'm more of a fire pit kind of a guy, like you go outside, make a fire.
Outside.
And I say that I have a fireplace,
that.
and we use it from time to time.
Yeah.
But it's like, let's go outside and make a fire. That's where you do fire.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
But sometimes what we kind of, just because we don't examine this, we end up with, and I hate to pick on the the concrete fireplace, but like, and they do have, you can use a masonry flue with them, and so there's there's things that you can do, and you're not stuck with that. And so like, but often because it wasn't discussed, ends up in the drawings is the easiest thing, which is that, and then it's gas logs, and so like. And again, I don't want to pick on anybody, but I have had the experience where the homeowner goes to turn on the fire and the room gets flooded with natural gas because it's not, it's just not igniting as quickly as it needs to. And so like, then you're waiting for that smell to go away. Yeah. But then there's also like, the ones that are, so I think when you're talking about proportions, I got sent down that rabbit hole by Arthur Anderson, who was like, you should look into Rumford fireplaces. And there was a dude named Count Rumford or something like that. And so I was like, well, now I have to read all about that. But yeah, like there are really good proportion ones that will draft better. And then there's ones that just don't all draft all that well. And so now if that's a gas combustion one, that's like, you know, you're breathing in carbon monoxide, and it's just like,
I mean, the worst scenario is you get this brand new home, the owner goes turn on a fireplace and it doesn't draft right. And then you get smoke everywhere. Getting smoke out is just impossible.
At least if it's a wood fire, at least with the smoke, you know that something's wrong.
That's true. Yeah.
So like, that's why I'm pro wood. Like, go ahead and, because like also you get the experience, right? Like, making a building a fire.
I'm a man.
It's a great, you know, it is very rewarding.
It is. It's a skill you get to teach your kids too, about how to make a fire and stoke the fire and keep the fire going and burn yourself. And
then also it has to be attended, right? Like, you know, a gas log fire, you can just turn it on. Lose your attention span, go to something else, and it's just on.
It's gonna be okay,
and it's gonna
fall asleep.
Yeah, you'll fall asleep, and maybe you'll wake up.
It's all right.
Right?
Maybe.
So,
maybe.
Depends. So I don't know. There's just like so like, but you know, usually it's too late to do anything in the design process. So it's you end up with something. Also, dark horse candidate, wood burning stoves. Because you get the benefit of having the fire, but when you seal that thing closed, it is sealed.
It's not coming
and so when it's not in use, and it also kind of like wood burning stoves sort of look nice when not in use. The best thing about the gas log is that it's the best looking one when not in use, right? Because like even a wood burning fireplace, when it's just empty, it feels a little bit sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
And so like that's the only thing that is
logs.
Those gas logs.
I still have ash and, you know, burnt up logs in mine from last year. So
all right, let's do the next one.
All right.
That's a good one.
We talked about sheet metal fascia. Okay, this is a quick one. Pivot doors. I love them. Yeah, you can't air seal them.
That's true. They're such a pain.
Almost impossible.
It's almost impossible. And like, you know, especially they're usually in the front door. It's like a beautiful thing, and there's no way to really air seal that connection very well and have it be. And you know, it's also true that you're kind of inventing a door as a one-off thing for every project, because everything has to be unique.
It's like one of those things, like just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Well, I mean,
it's good.
I get, right? Like, I get you want to make this statement, but I think it's just that again, like, I'm not anti-pivot door. I'm not anti-big front door. I just want to make sure that I've just had too many experiences where the homeowner goes like, every time the guy brings the leaf blower over here, it just, all of this stuff comes into the house. Is there anything we can do about it? And you have to look at the homeowner and go like, no.
Get a new front door.
I'm sorry, there's really nothing. Like, we can make it better.
I think that's one of those things that in certain climates or in certain environments, it makes a lot more sense than others. And when you're, I don't know, just in Texas heat, air sealing really makes a big difference here. We're in such a hot, humid climate.
It does. I think like now. I'm not opposed to doing them. I want to make sure the homeowner is aware of, you know, sort of the beauty and limitations, and they usually choose that they want it. But I'll just be more careful about, do we have wood floor right directly adjacent to this?
That's good.
So that we're not like encouraging humidity to condense there once it, you know, like
a proper drainage pan. Any leaks, which they will happen. You know, or
maybe just like a little bit of a step down there, so like dust is not blowing in.
How much overhang does it have? Blah blah blah.
So you said you're not anti, you know, like big door, but have you seen this stupid trend? I guess is it Florida or Miami, where they have like 20-foot tall, 30-foot tall front entry door? Have you seen these?
No.
I swear. Oh my gosh. I'll send y'all a picture of what I'm talking about.
Wild.
They're these massive, probably, I don't know, 12-foot wide, 20, 30-foot tall doors, big pivot doors.
Holy cow.
And it's like these giant McMansions, you know. I'm pretty sure it's Miami. It's on the coast somewhere.
Sounds like it.
And you walk in and it's just
I believe it.
I mean,
believe that.
that's just silly in my opinion. I mean, it's a little
Yeah, I mean, you could also.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, there's something about it being, like a massive door is kind of nice, right?
Yeah,
and so like
it's cool.
massive and rough, but maybe I've seen a really good pivot door as a front door that then leads to an exterior courtyard, so that it's not the building envelope, right? And so
That's smart, yeah.
So like like that's where people come and ring the doorbell, and then the host can come out and open it. But then they're walking them through the courtyard into the house, and so then the door at the house can be a little bit more. So it's again like, I'm not anti anything. It's just like I want there to be appropriate thought,
awareness in these.
I love pieces. All details.
Yeah.
Maybe
that may not be true.
Okay, then what else do I have? Oh, thermostats.
Oh yeah,
you guys just had tell, so I hope like if we were on this together, we could talk a lot about thermostats.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear your take on this.
Well, I think I've also found myself in the situation where I'm explaining to our clients how a VRF system operates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for listening audience, VRF is variable refrigerant flow. They are very, very good machines, but they just operate different than your standard, 5-ton, like on off kind of unit.
Yeah.
And they're great. They're very energy efficient. They're very quiet. They're very comfortable. But they do operate fundamentally differently, and they ramp up slowly and to meet the energy load, and they kind of ramp down again. And so you don't have the response. Like if you're hot, what people are used to if they've not lived in one is they like walk over to the thermostat and tick it down, and then it goes like bong, and it blows a bunch of cold air in the room, and then everybody's happy.
Yep.
But if you are not aware of what a VRF system is going to feel like, then you might be very disappointed once you move into your house and you're like, what do you mean I shouldn't touch the thermostat? Like I want it to be colder. And I was like, yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
It's like really unsatisfying.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've often thought, like, I was joking that I would start a company that we made fake thermostats.
Yes.
And we'd just put them on the wall.
Good. You could go over there and release your frustration.
Yeah. And like, so two things. It would always show 2 to 3 degrees colder than the actual room temperature.
That is genius. I think that should just be a standard feature.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like, like because like some people just think like I'm a 72 person, right? Like I'm just a 72 person. I won't be comfortable unless it's 72.
Yeah.
And even though like these houses will have better air conditioning, better dehumidification. Yeah. And so like really 72 is more like 75. Yeah. But if you try and explain that to somebody, they're like, no, I like 72.
It's a really fascinating cultural thing to have the expectation of like comfort in this area, can increase almost to an absolute,
right?
Like that, where it's like, I'm only comfortable at one temperature. Yeah. I mean, that's a really specific phenomenon to our time,
right?
But also, the knowledge about the system has not increased at a given level, right? Yeah. So people think that air conditioning, today and 20 years ago is like basically the same.
Right.
And it's like, it's actually so really different. There's a lot of innovation that's happening in that, and especially in these high-end, really technical, complex homes.
Yeah, totally.
And people don't care. They just want it to be 72.
I think
not that they don't
occasionally
care,
you do have a client that's like, oh yeah, I want to come to the mechanical meetings.
Yeah.
And so like there's always 100%. Those, but like I think it's on all of us that we should be educating our clients in advance so that they understand what a VR is. So now I give this rant to all of our clients, and like if I give it more than once, they go, I know, I know. You can stop talking about it. It's like, okay,
we get it.
Okay, I'm just triggered.
Yeah.
No, that's good. So your argument about the thermostat is not like from a design standpoint, it's more of like the function of it. Like what's your?
I think my problem is that it's that it looks so absolute, and so
I gotcha.
But like in reality, the thermostats are reading a mixture of temperatures from the room and the return air, and so like what it actually says is not all that important, but if you can adjust it to the where things are comfortable, and that just takes some patience of like adjusting it enough and dialing in like how much fresh air is coming in, how much dehumidification are you doing, because like dehumidification adds heat load while it's taking away the humidity, and so it's a complicated thing, and so you take some time to get it dialed in, but once it's dialed in, like you really should not have to touch the thermostat anymore. And it should be really stable and just always within a certain comfort band. But it takes a while to get there. And in the meantime, you got a person that's a 72 person walking up and going to say like, this says 73. And they'll tick it down. But in reality, like a room can have several different temperatures in it, and
go stand by the window, and it's completely different than,
and it's still within your comfort band. But we're getting this sort of data feedback that is kind of
binary.
It's like short circuiting the like just listening to your body. And so if you can give them a fake one that says like, no, it's super cold in here.
Dude, it is freezing.
Like, oh, well, I guess it's cold. It's just me.
And then if then what, like it has buttons on it, and then the button will just like, it'll just ping my phone, and then I can call the homeowner and go like, hey, how's it going? How's your house? Is everything going good? And then they can go like, actually, it's a little warm in here. It's like, okay, great. I'll come over and let's dial
figure it out.
Yeah. So that's my invention. It's $1 million invention.
Good.
That's so funny.
Well, we're really excited for the Rauser technology arm that's going to develop out of this. I'm excited.
Any day now, because all of my spare time.
I got a plastic bubble cover, a locking cover over my thermostat at home. So, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, don't let anybody touch it.
Talk about innovation. Yeah, well, with two small kids, it was like, I got to have this stinking thing covered up, because you walk in there one day and they flip it over to heat. You're like, why is it so hot? Like, was something broken? And like, God darn these kids.
It's also worth acknowledging that like arguing about the thermostat is maybe the most like grumpy old man thing that we could possibly be talking about. But you just gotta call it like you see it.
Fantastic.
That's perfect.
That's so good.
Oh man.
All right, what about you? Good. You guys have any pet peeves?
Yes.
Because apparently I have plenty.
Apparently, yeah.
Yes.
I'm interested to hear Michael's pet peeves.
Yeah. There's kind of one that's tied into that of like smart, like people wanting their homes to be smart. And the pet peeve of mine in that is that the cost implication of that can vary widely, like to extremes. And I don't think it's necessarily it's not necessarily like, I don't think the clients, I think it's our jobs to be informing the clients, about the options and what that, but I'm just really tired of everyone wanting their homes to be so smart. And
you like a dumb home.
I like a dumb home.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like we're at this point right now where there is a lot of like retrofit applications of technology that are kind of solving the integration problem pretty successfully, because the market for retrofit is so much bigger than new construction. And so you can almost make do with a lot of those things, like Sonos and the Pico switches, and these sort of like the more pedestrian
Yale door lock and
so like those you can find those are getting better than they used to be. But I agree with you, like this, it's impossible to guess what that budget number is going to be when you're putting together a budget for a client. In the beginning, you're like, this could be $10,000. It could be $400,000. Like, I absolutely have no idea. Like, we could just be doing like Apple TVs and Sonos. Or we could do like distributed video on every room where there's stereo everywhere, and so it's impossible to guess.
And I think a lot of the effort is being put in from the product side on retrofit solutions. And my experience with whole home solutions has been that oftentimes they come across really heavy-handed, or they get outdated really quickly.
Right.
And so it's kind of this in between where I'm going, either I'm going to suggest something to you that in 10 years everyone's going to be like, this is weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Or I don't know. So that's kind of why I've just been like, dumb home.
My favorite version of the obsolete technology was back at Reisinger. We did a house that had where the homeowner really wanted to be able to have they had a really nice outdoor patio, and they wanted to be able to have this. They found this iPod dock
Nice.
that
Freaking love it.
that was like made out of stone.
No.
and it was set into the masonry wall.
Oh, that's
so good.
so sweet.
That's
and
awesome.
so it was just the shape of that iPod, and it had just the connector for that iPod. Probably, I'm hoping that it was still relevant when we finished the house, but it was probably irrelevant soon after.
That's
But
so cool.
now, that's probably 15 years ago. Now I'm kind of like, I bet that's so cool. Like, if that was my house, I'd be like, check this out.
You're like, this is awesome.
And you
That's it.
dust off the old iPod.
Well, let me scroll. Doing the wheel, you know.
You're like, I'm retro.
That's awesome.
So I think that's actually pretty cool.
That's cool. I mean, y'all's pet peeves they're nice. They're very high level. I'm gonna bring it down.
Oh, great.
Intellectually kind of dumb it down and look at more low level. No, this is something that I've run into before and here recently, because I've been doing a lot of pre-construction type activities, and something that I've ranted about before, I think, to you.
Yes, you have.
And I'm interested to hear your thoughts, but I think this is more of a hot take, I guess, / pet peeve.
I'm here for it.
But I've experienced this not only with HVAC companies, installers, and low voltage and lighting, which, my God, lighting is gotten so complicated. But installers, I think it's overall, I don't know if it serves the clients well for an installer to be a certified rep of a specific manufacturer, right? Because what I've come across is, the design for the lighting says, hey, the lights are supposed to be X. And so I send this out and to get pricing, and, a company will come back and say, well, but I'm a rep for so-and-so, and I can get these for, much, much better price. And it's like, well, okay, but that's not what they want.
Right.
You're not, to me, that's sending the message of you're not here to serve the client's best interest, right? We have a specific design that shows this type of lighting. This is what we want. And you know what? Until the day that the client comes to me and says, I want something else, this is what I want pricing for.
Yeah.
But you're trying to push a different product on me because you're a rep and you get some kind of monetary kickback or something, right? So to me, I think that's an overall negative on the industry as a whole for installers to be reps for certain manufacturers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I think I agree to a certain extent.
There might be some pros and cons to it.
Yeah. I mean, we have you have a submittal process, right? So if your installer is suggesting something else, then you can formally submit that to the architect. The risk there is if it is clearly worse of a thing, then you just look foolish for suggesting it, for not knowing that, how could you not know that this is a worse thing?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of know whether that's a viable alternative or not. But if it is, and it does save money, then I think that's at least worth considering and kicking back to the design team and saying what do you think of this?
Yeah.
But a lot of times it is just hey, I can get this other thing cheaper and it's not as good.
Yeah.
And then that's a big no. But I think it also it puts blinders on that on that subcontractor, because they're just doing, because they're tied to that company, they're probably only working with that product. And so they're going to have a hard time understanding what another, like how another product gets installed.
Yeah.
And so that's,
and I get it. There's a lot of, the last episode we had Tell on with Air Right, and, there's a lot of different manufacturers for HVAC equipment, and I get it. You probably can't specialize in all equipment. You have to kind of pick a lane, and so I'm sympathetic to that. I get it. And you want to go with a brand that's, has great quality and great warranty and good service, right? So I totally understand. But, it's just the frustration that I've experienced is, again, this is what the design shows. You're pricing something else, and, what you're suggesting might be better, but now we have to go back and redesign. And now the client has to spend more money.
Right.
And so, first of all, I'm just trying to build a budget. Please, just price it how it's shown, and we can always have this conversation later.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's a very good point.
This is the I've run into this 2 or 3 times already, and so it's just like
sounds
it's
like
fresh
a you
on,
problem, really. I think that's what this is.
I think that's right. I get that you're just trying to you're trying to price, like, because when you're in this pricing stage and pre-construction, you're trying to give the homeowner the information they need to know that, like, this is on track.
Yeah.
Let's move forward with the final set of drawings.
Right.
Sometimes you're doing a DD pricing set,
Right.
and just need that information so that they can keep moving. They just need a thumbs up, thumbs down. We're good to go or not.
Yeah.
And so to try, and that's not the point where you should be introducing new products.
Right. Exactly.
Just to price what's drawn, and then we'll figure it out after that.
If you have a suggestion later on down the road, like if you think this product is going to be a better fit and still within budget, or maybe it's aesthetically more pleasing, it matches the architectural intent. Let's have that conversation then, and then we can cross that bridge. But for right now, like, I don't care what products you're trying to sell to me.
I'm on board.
Just give me what I want.
Give Lonnie what he wants.
Give me what I want.
Put that on the Daggers t-shirt.
Give me what I want.
I'm all for that.
So good. Yes.
I second that.
Yes.
Man.
What else?
Let's I'll say this. Let's dive into real quick client relationships.
Sure.
I'd love to get I'm curious why you recommended this.
Yeah.
As a talking point, and why your note about challenging this idea of what is a bad client.
Bad
So
clients.
I'm interested to hear why.
Well, okay. I mean, this is something
topic.
obviously in the construction industry we deal with a lot. Like, especially what we do is we build very high-end custom homes for people, right? They're not spec.
Yep.
They're not. They're deliberately for a person. They are often the largest economic purchase this person is making. And also this a kind of a representation of their self, right? It is somehow embodying their person, and so it's super personal. And so like I hear a lot, as builders are hanging out together, you'll be telling stories and you say like, oh yeah, we had this bad client and yada yada, and you're telling your horror stories, and it always kind of sticks with me because I'm like, okay. It's easy to just say bad client, but in reality, like, there was probably a failure in process or failure in communication.
Yes.
That is like, if you put anyone, so the people who can afford to build these houses are generally really good at something that is not construction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
And so they're really used to being, kind of in control of stuff and be like in their lane, and you're putting them in a situation where they are definitely at a knowledge deficit.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are these like high achieving people are used to being at a knowledge deficit, But when you put them at a knowledge deficit and sort of like an input deficit, like an information,
they're not steering
deficit,
the ship.
Then it's like they can't gain the knowledge because they're not getting the information that they need, and they feel out of control, and because like they are out of control. Like we are controlling this process for them. And so, they are definitely out of control. They don't control the subs. They don't control the schedule. They're just hanging on. And so I'm very sympathetic to a person that's in that situation where they are out of control.
Yeah.
And if someone is not treating that, with sensitivity, then they can, like anyone who is out of control and not being listened to and can act in an emotional way that will, be a freak out. Right. And so I think that's just human nature.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I always question okay, that idea of bad clients, is it truly just a bad person, or was there something about this process that caused them to get in a difficult state?
That is so insightful. That's honestly, I think you hit the nail on the head. That's really, really good. Because I've experienced that as well. I think we probably all have. Yeah. Where it's like it seems like every issue that you come across, every time it feels like you're butting heads, it all kind of boils down to a miscommunication. Right. And it's like you think you're communicating this and they interpret it as that. And you know what I mean? I think we've all experienced that. And then a few weeks goes by and boom, now it's a problem. So being on the design side of that, I think one of the things that designers can really set a project up for success in is being able to bring the builder in on early conversations, and B, have conversations about costs with the owner that doesn't necessarily have to be at a specific level, but at a general level, to where when the builder's having the conversations about that at a specific level, it seems like right now in the process, so much of the budget is often where the tension points come in a lot of that, because it's in a lot of ways that's, kind of where things come to a head,
right.
The dream meets reality.
Right.
And so I'm particularly passionate about that being a team effort. And I don't know, I've just been in a lot of rooms where I feel like that's rested solely on one member of the team.
The dream crusher.
Right. Yeah. And the builder's like, well, that's going to be $1 billion.
Go crush some dreams.
Like,
someone I knew said that when they describe what they do to people who are not in the industry, they're like, I tell rich people they can't afford things.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
That's sick.
Just kind of boiling it down. Yeah. And so, I think it's the same thing. It's like you come in and you're trying to set expexpectations.
Yeah. Setting expectations.
I feel strongly that my job is to build our clients build according to their value system. It's not what I think they should do. It's what they and I'm not going to let them make a bad decision. But I also, want them to be complicit in decision making, right? I want them to be involved and so in order to do that, you really have to communicate a lot, and you have to bring them in on that decision making
proactively.
Exactly.
It's one thing to say, hey, by the way, this happened. Sorry,
$15,000.
Because then they're left with well, the decision could have been made a couple of weeks ago. But you were too scared to bring it up. Right. So you have to proactive, jump on and be like, hey, this is an issue, or this will become an issue now if we don't deal with it now. Right. And what I've learned is never back somebody into a corner either. You know, if sure, problems happen. Everybody understands that. It's construction. It's complex. Things are bound to come up. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, before you just throw your hands up and say, this is a problem, come up with a few solutions and maybe put cost and schedule impact in there as well, and be like, hey, I just wanted to inform you, we ran into an issue today, but we have solution A and solution B, and here are your options.
Yeah.
And then, boom, now they feel like they're the ones who's steering the ship and making the decision.
Yeah.
Right? It puts the control back
Yeah.
in their hands,
Yeah.
and they can make an informed decision on how they're going to proceed forward.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
that's
that
really
puts them back in control.
It's very important.
So be proactive. Do not. I had an old boss that said, you know, you got to swallow that frog every morning. Do the hardest thing, right? And then the rest of the day is going to feel easy. So swallow that frog first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Get the tough conversations out of the way first. Do not kick the can down the road.
Yeah. I wrote this down for one of the things I want to talk about, is that, like, I think any mistake or problem is actually, you should look forward to as an opportunity to get closer to your clients.
Yeah.
Because like that, like when something goes wrong, if everything goes right, then it's boring, and you know, you're just like, here's your house, which doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But like, it's when something goes wrong, you go like, okay, here's what happened.
Yeah.
And you know, like, or like, we missed this, and so here's what we're doing. When it's on you, if you can jump on it and be, you know, really let them know that it's important to you.
Yeah.
And that's a way to get I'm always just trying to get in closer to, like, so that we can have those real conversations. And so I was just like, that's an opportunity to get closer.
Yep.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah. I do think though that, like, you know, and it's also important to kind of to know your clients, and part of that is kind of getting their back history. So often we, you know, in an interview, I'm often like asking, like, hey, have you built before? What was that like? You know, did you feel like that was a rewarding experience? Or and that's a way of kind of getting, you know, there's if someone's never done it before, they're just coming at it from a totally different place than someone who's done it several times. And there are different things that you need to kind of like work them through, and kind of like, you're starting from, okay, like, let's talk about, you know, how this works. And so it's important to know who they are and to, like, meet them where they are. Right. So, you know, if there's somebody that just doesn't understand it and is very concerned about schedule, or concerned about price, or concerned about not overall numbers but each individual number, and is this right, and like, you have to handle each one of those differently. And you know, some homeowners, like, kind of to your point of, like, have some options. Sometimes I'm like, with this person, I just want to immediately tell them what the problem is and say, we're working on it.
Okay.
Like, and there's times when that's the appropriate answer. And then like, then that person's like, okay, I know there's a problem, and you don't run the risk of them going like, wait, what's going on here? And you go like, oh yeah, I was going to email you later today about that. And so it's kind of like, it has to do with sort of where they are and how, and kind of like what their sensitivities are.
Very, very well said.
Yeah.
I always say we've got we're one of the only industries where the end user is involved in the manufacturing process.
Right.
And that's what's happening there.
That's
so good.
Communication's key.
I have one last thought on this, which is, I had a project manager. We were at happy hour, which we have a lot of happy hours because it's important to talk about this stuff. But I had a happy hour, and this project manager, she said, I've been working really hard. I'm just trying to make this client happy, and I just don't think I can make this client happy. And I was like, oh, no. Happiness is not your goal, right? Like, no one should put someone else's happiness on them as their responsibility.
100%.
That's good.
Period.
Yeah.
In any walk of life.
Yeah. Just really in any relationship.
Yeah. But like, it's, I think it is, you're working to make, you could make them unhappy, and you shouldn't do that. Right. So that's number one. You can create the environment in which their happiness is possible and even likely. And that's number two. But also, I try and remind everyone, and people get sick of me saying this too, is that, we are acting in the best interest of the project. We're putting the interest of the project first. And so every decision from, how we write a contract to how we do punch out, from then and everything in between is related to putting the interest of the project first. And I know if I'm doing that and I'm assuming that everybody else involved is doing that, like the homeowner wants this same thing. They want the project to go well. The architect wants it to go well. So that is kind of an aligning factor.
Yep.
And so it's much easier then to talk through issues, because it's no longer, I want to do it this way and you want to do this way, or I think this and you think this. It's like, I think this is what's in the best interest of the project. You may think something else is in the best interest of the project. So let's now discuss what's that and come to some understanding of what it is.
Yeah.
And so like that's just sort of like a fun, and that also takes that pressure off of the project manager of like, you're doing the job, and if a homeowner is stressed out and is like and has a negative reaction to something, you can just back to your center, which is, I'm acting in the best interest of the project. I know what I'm doing, and that's why I'm here. And I'm good at it. Like we have really fantastic project managers. They're all really good at this. And like, just remind yourself you're good at this. You know about construction that these people don't, and they're just trying to figure things out. And they are at an information deficit.
Gosh, I don't. That's very well said, and I don't think I could add anything to that. I mean, it would just sound dumb coming out of my mouth, so I'm not even going to attempt to. But man, I mean, I'm sitting here. I mean, if you're listening to this conversation, you're getting just decades of experience, especially Eric. I mean, multiple decades. So many decades.
All the decades. Wow, this guy is old. Let me tell you what.
Decades. All right, that was a little knock on it. That's good. But you're getting so much knowledge and experience in these conversations, and I think there's huge, like tremendous value in that. So Eric, dude, I'm so grateful for you coming on and sharing your wisdom with us.
This has been awesome.
Gosh, we have to do this again sometime.
We should do a part 2 of pet peeves.
Or hot takes. I'll collect more. I was thinking about one the other day, and I was like, I should write that down.
Me too. I was doing that. I was like,
that's how it always is. You think of something, and it just in the moment. And then it's gone. But
thank you guys for having me on. I like I said, I think you're doing a great service for this industry and in this location. And so I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
All right. Until next time.
All right.
Yes, sir. Peace.